Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Anupria Goenka is an Indian actress and model who has appeared in various Hindi and Telugu films. She has made her on-screen debut with 2013 Telugu film Pottugaru, having previously starred in the 2013 short film Worth the Kiss. She subsequently starred in the comedy drama Bobby Jasus, the drama Pathshala, the action comedy Dishum, and the crime drama Daddy. She went on to star in the action thrillers Tiger Zinda Hai, War, and the epic period drama Padmavat, all of which have ranked the highest grossing Indian films of all time. She is well known for her roles in various web series such as Criminal Justice, Ashram, Final Call, Abhay, and many more. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
Anupriya, if I can begin, just by asking a very basic and a simple question. What inspired Anupriya Goenka to become an actress?
I think theatre, just a one-word answer would be that I had done a theatre workshop way back in school, and that remained one of my happiest memories. So the thought started from there. I just wanted to do something recreational after I'd come to Bombay and settled my family here. I was in a cushy corporate job, but I wanted to take a break and do something creative. And somehow theatre was the only thing I wanted to try. And that's where the journey started from. What inspired me to become a professional actor was because theatre didn't pay and I needed to earn. So I realized that in order to continue acting, or rather to even learn acting, I need to start earning from it. And that's when the professional journey started.
Naturally. So theatre was your the first push, we can say?
Yeah.
In all my conversations that I've had on Masterminds, one question that regularly comes up from the audience to all the talented people that I've had the honor of interviewing is that, is it necessary, and since you've begun from theatre, is it necessary for an actor to begin from theatre to harness his acting skills, his or her acting skills?
I don't think it's necessary, but I think it definitely helps a lot. You get to learn many things. You get to understand the craft much better. It gives you a certain amount of confidence. Most of the people who are working in theatre are very refined actors and directors, and you get to be in a very highly prolific environment. And the thrill that you get on stage is beautiful in terms of a live audience. For me, theatre remains more, acting on stage is much more difficult than acting in front of the camera. Because of course there are no retakes, that everyone knows. But apart from that, also there are still many more butterflies in the stomach, and anything can go wrong, and things definitely always go wrong somewhere during the play, but you never realize it because they do it so seamlessly and they worked on the craft so much. So and there's actual amount of interaction happening with very real-time interaction happening with the audience, with your co-actors. So it's I think it's very helpful to do theatre for sure.
So naturally, theatre helps. Anupriya, when you started acting, let's say with theatre and then with commercial cinema, whom did you idealize as an actor?
I think I've always idolized Shabana ma'am and Smita Patil ma'am and Nasir sir a lot. I think one of the times when I was most inspired, somewhere I think I don't remember that the seed of acting was sown there, but I was most inspired was when I was watching this play by Nasir sir, Isma Tapa Ke Naam. And I saw Ratna Pathak ma'am and Nasir sir and Hiba perform different characters, and they were absolutely amazing, one better than the other, and they enthralled every one of us. And I remember at that time being completely in awe and inspired and thinking, if someone can do that, I mean, if I can be a part of something like this, and the kind of skills or the kind of art that one harbors inside them. So I mean, I think Nasir sir. And
if it was not for acting, if let's say theatre did not call you, what would Anupriya Goenka be doing as of now, as we speak?
I've always wanted to do some sort of social work. I did start doing that also while I was in the corporate sector, but I couldn't carry on for a very long time. I also somewhere want to start a small scale unit somewhere in the countryside, which involves the local artisans and is providing work. The idea is that somewhere in my brain I feel that if I could provide work and to the local artisans around, and make something productive, produce something, and turn it into a business model also. That has always been a thought. So maybe I would have been on that road.
Who knows? Maybe in the future we will see success in that. Yes. Uh, what, according to you, are the essential ingredients? If I can call that make up a good actor. According to you, एक अच्छा actor होने के लिए क्या qualities होनी चाहिए?
Okay, this is as per my limited experience and knowledge.
Absolutely. No, no. Please don't call it a limited experience. The moment we announced that in today's episode we are having you, we had a barrage of comments and everyone that who are your fan.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm humbled. I think one of the biggest assets an actor can have is experience in life. You know, life teaches you so much, and I think if you're receptive, if you're consuming, if you're someone who soaks in and churns it, also doesn't just get stuck in a space. By soaking in, I don't mean that you just soak everything in and don't churn it out. You have to keep revolving what's inside you also. But life experiences are one of the biggest nurturing areas for an actor. The more you fill your life with various kind of experiences, emotions, be it happy, sad, traumatic, engaging, exciting, everything. It gives you the biggest kind of a ground to work upon and move forward from. Also, passion, I believe, is the most important. I've always said, like, many people keep messaging and asking that if they are doing, like, because I have, shifted from business to corporates and then to acting. Many a times I'm asked these questions, that someone who's, probably in a government job, or someone who's in a cushy corporate job and who don't have the means yet to go out there and try themselves, try their luck in acting, then they are very worried, obviously, and they ask me whether it's worth it to leave that and to change gears. And my sole response is that if you really are passionate about it, if you're here for the right reasons, if acting as a craft is something that you want to enjoy and learn and nurture and grow in, then yes, because that's your calling. If you're only doing it for fame, for monies, why, the intention is very important as to why do you want to be an actor, and that makes everything worth it, because it's not an easy space to be in at all. It's one of the most difficult crafts and professions.
Absolutely.
I don't think I have, as I said, I've been on 3 different sides, and as an actor, I think I've learned much more personally. It's tested me much more. It's been I've needed to be far more perseverant and, self-believing, and have had to reinvent myself over and over again. And it tests you all the time, no matter what stage of life you're in and what stage of your profession you're in. So to make all of that worth it, if it's really your calling from within, then you should be an actor. And hearing, being sensitive, being empathetic. There are many qualities, actually. Being intelligent. I think as an actor, good actors are very intelligent human beings. And if you don't really have life experiences, doesn't mean that you cannot, create treasures. You can read, you can soak in many skills, try different things. You can watch a lot of stuff around, be perceptive, engage around you. So yeah.
Observation is an important skill set.
Yes, it is.
And if my memory serves me right, since you mentioned about experience, Javed Akhtar Saab once said कि जब कुछ नहीं मिलता है तब तजुर्बा मिलता है. जब कुछ करो और अगर समझो आप उसमें आपको अनफॉर्चुनेटली अगर कुछ ना मिले, तब ऐसा समझना कि आपको तजुर्बा मिला और वो तजुर्बा आपको आगे कुछ ना कुछ जरूर दिलाएगा. So yes, I mean, as you said, it's experience, it's passion, it's your inner calling, and not just for reasons which are superficial. If there is a true inner calling, then naturally one should go into the field of acting. Now, Anupriya, you have acted, and as I mentioned in your introduction as well, in films such as Tiger Zinda Hai, where you were the nurse, then in War, then in Padmavat as well. Any role, in a film which you feel that you aspire to do, or you feel that, this role, I should have done?
Oh, so many of them. So many. Like, Erin Brockovich, which was played by Julia Roberts, I think that is one enigmatic role that I've always loved, and I've always, kind of secretly wished that I would do something similar to that. Uh, Even again, Pretty Woman's, Julia Roberts character. अर्थ में जो कैरेक्टर शबाना मैम का था या स्मिता मैम का था, मिर्च मसाला में what स्मिता मैम played, उमराव जान's character Rekha's, many of Sanjay sir's films like Padmavat, and I mean Deepika's roles in Padmavat or in Baji Rao or in many of them, Parinita, Divya Balan's roles in Ishqiya's. So many of them I'm inspired, I'm inspired by, and I aspire to do sometime in life.
Absolutely. Recently, OTT has become an actor's playground. Like earlier, it was, you had television, you had films, right from 2016, when the likes of Amazon, Netflix entered into this nation. We have seen OTT grow. And with the pandemic, what it has done, it was already growing. But with the pandemic, the acceleration, someone just pushed the accelerator and it grew because people were at home and TV and OTT were the only things. How do you see the growth of over-the-top platforms being helpful for actors in harnessing their abilities?
In harnessing their abilities? You mean yes, actors who are already working? In opportunities, of course, it's given us a fresh breath of life. Not just actors, all sorts of artists in the field of entertainment. Be it actors, cinematographers, writers, directors, crew members at large. So it's been so prolific and life-giving to all of us, because there's no dearth of content anymore. You're getting to explore various concepts. So studios are being very bold. Like there was a time in India when, even as a kid, I used to wonder that why does everything have to be around a love story, and there has to be a villain and two heroines, and that's like the typical masala content. But now, and like when I would see international stuff, I would imagine that if there can be a movie about a man and a dog, or about two sisters, or about a kid, or about just a profession in totality. But now we are doing all of that. It is not just about a particular formula that we are going on. There's different kind of stuff being made and churned out, and I think a lot of it has to do with the web culture that has come in, and it's been so blissful because of that. Like earlier there was only TV and films, right? And films are far and few for all actors. But now, and in TV long formats, like sometimes you want to do a character over a period of time, like how you enjoy in theater, being on stage, that you get to perform the same character over and over again. And in TV, I used to sometimes feel envious of TV actors who could do one character over a huge amount of time. But then again, it is very redundant as it stands today in India. Unfortunately, I hope it gets better and we go back to the phase that we were in television a long time ago. But in web now, you can do long formats without being stuck in a particular zone also for 2-3 years. And you can enjoy different storytelling. You get to have more detailed character graphs, and the vibe with other co-actors is also much more, because each one of us are biting more into our characters. So each one's graph and the camaraderie between two co-actors is also that much more defined. Hence. And with the rest of the crew and your directors, of course. And so yeah, it's a very giving space. It's very interesting. And I think both films and web is going to only make each other better.
True.
There's going to be a very healthy sort of a competition. In fact, I wouldn't even want to say competition. There's going to be a very healthy sort of a combination of the two. Now, the content on each of them is going to inspire one another.
Sure. Now, having said that it would be not films versus digital, films and digital is like the way forward. But after the pandemic, the scene has quite changed a bit. Although theaters have opened at 50%, but there were no movies, so people weren't there. Now, tomorrow, Ruhi is releasing, and then next week we have Mumbai Saga, then we have Saina releasing, then 83 in the month of June, and long list goes. Do you see people coming back to the cinematic experience. The 70 mm, bade parde ka ek maza hai, jana, coffee lena. Like, like your films only, films like Tiger Zinda Hai War.
True.
It is because I have seen it in theater, in cinema halls. So the entire experience of a 70 is grand for that. So do you feel that, there will be little hesitation, or no, people will just flock in? How do you see the business now?
We are quite resilient, whether we like it or not. We are very resilient lot. I feel that we are going to be back in the theaters much more, because if you honestly look at it, whenever I have gone out to restaurants and to any public spaces, I have seen them full.
Yes,
much more
even
to
I
my
have.
comfort levels. So imagine if they are ready to go back to restaurants that easily to eat food which is also available at home. Then why wouldn't they want to go back to the movie theaters if a movie of a sort comes that they wouldn't want to see on the small scale, on television sets. So yeah, I think it's more about the kind of movies which will only do which will be done justice to on a big screen, as you mentioned. Like Padmavat, War, Tiger are movies that would be only justified on the bigger screen. 83 is one such movie. Even I think Saina is one such movie. So, like, I think over a period of time, that kind of differentiation might happen. That films which can be made for the digital platform and films which can be only made for the for theatrical releases. And I am hoping that audiences will go back, but at the same point in time, we need to exercise caution too. And as such, I think India is bouncing back. In my opinion, India is bouncing back pretty well.
Yes.
From the setback that we've had on all fronts. So it might take some time, but people will go back to the theaters for sure, because it's an experience we've celebrated all our lives.
Absolutely. And personally speaking, I am also waiting for the Sunday evenings of theater with a cup of coffee and the quintessential samosa that one must have and
right.
theater. But yes, Anupriya, now since this is a masterminds, we have people across the length and breadth of the nation wanting to ask you questions. We'll just take a couple of them, respecting the time that we have. So Sagar, can we have the first question, please? We have Shubham.
Hi, Shubham.
He's getting connected, and here he is. Shubham, you'll just have to unmute yourself and ask your question to Anupriya, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hi,
hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Hi.
Hi. It's a pleasure getting a chance and talking with you.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
Yeah. So my question is, like, earlier you were into the corporate world and decided to take a break and come into this acting world. Right now, I am also a software engineer and working in a corporate world, and currently in that campus only. So my question is, like, I'm enjoying doing the acting and dancing from very long, but now from doing a job, I'm stuck. Like, this thing does not driving me. So people like us, how will approach correct casting directors or agencies who is not having a filmy background or acting background? So how will, yeah.
Thank you for the question. Shubham, I think, this is one of the best times for being an actor in the entertainment industry, because there are so many opportunities available. This kind of an opportunity or this kind of chance, these kind of chances were not available to actors maybe 10 years back. And now content is being made in all ways, be it on YouTube, be it in short films, be it on the web space, also in films. And talent is truly being appreciated because content has become paramount. It is not just for some bookish they're not just bookish statements. This is actually a fact that talent is being appreciated and people do appreciate hard work. If you are rather than just don't be fancied by the idea of acting and entertainment, know that it is difficult because the competition is amazing and this is a very uncertain field. Like, it took me time also to get used to the uncertainty aspect of it, because I was so used to structure. Even in my business or in the corporate space, I, as a person, enjoy being in a structured environment. I also enjoyed being in a 9 to 6 or 9 to 8 job, rather 9 to 10. But so that was a difficult shift. So opportunities are there. Like, to answer your question more precisely, there are a list of casting directors who do a wonderful job, and there must be many, many more now, more than I also am aware of. All you need to do is look for them on the internet. There are email IDs available.
Yes.
Send in your pictures, send in your work if you have any. Create work if you can also create a show reel. You can act
Right.
something out. Hone your craft. More than anything else, it's very important to hone your craft. Now, many a times, casting directors are also casting from other cities, not just Bombay, and they
Yes.
do actively cast. Pay attention to those. Try reaching
Yes.
out to them. It is not absolutely important for you to shift from wherever you are if you're not in Bombay and then
Yes.
start your
Yes.
struggle.
Right.
You can actually do your work from somewhere else also now while you're actively doing whatever work you're doing. So it will take more kind of time and perseverance and hard work, but
Yeah.
if you really want to pursue acting, you'll figure your way out.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Shubham.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
We have the next question, please, Sagar.
Someone's connecting again.
So that's how, here we give a chance where they see and
That's
they
a
are
great
really
idea.
thrilled. Yes.
And that
We have
it's very
Karan.
personal also because you can then see them.
Yes,
Hello,
absolutely.
Kailash sir.
Hi, Karan. How are you?
Good sir. हेलो अनुप्रिया मैम।
Hi, Karan.
मैम मैं आपसे एक्टिंग को लेकर एक सवाल पूछना चाह रहा था। जैसे एक मूवी में एक कैरेक्टर को मतलब एक एक्टर को बहुत सारे कैरेक्टर प्ले करने पड़ते हैं बेस्ड ऑन द सिचुएशन, चाहे कॉमेडी हो चाहे सस्पेंस हो, तो एक्टर्स उनको मैनेज कैसे करते हैं मोर देन वन रोल? और एक और छोटा सा सवाल था कि आपने कभी अपनी एक्टिंग स्किल का यूज किया घर के कभी किसी काम से बचने के लिए?
नहीं, आई डोंट थिंक सो। हम लोग कोशिश जैसे करते हैं एक्टिंग करते वक्त भी कि नेचुरल रहना पड़े ऑन स्क्रीन, तो घर पे तो आई थिंक अपने आप नेचुरल रहना, एंड इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू बी यू। सो वन इज, हम लोग की सबसे बड़ी एक स्ट्रगल ये रहती है टू हाउ टू बी यू ऑल द टाइम एंड टू रिमेन नेचुरल। तो मुझे तो बहुत डर लगता है उस बात से कि अगर मैं घर पे भी एक्ट करने लग जाऊं या अपने पर्सनल स्पेसेस में भी एक्ट करने लग जाऊं। हाँ, थोड़ा बहुत मैनिपुलेशन तो हम सब करते हैं, थोड़ा बहुत एक्टिंग हम सब करते हैं, बी इट व्हाटएवर प्रोफेशन वी आर इन, विदाउट रियलाइजिंग इट एक्चुअली। तो हाँ, मैंने कभी ऐसे जानबूझ के अपनी एक्टिंग स्किल यूज नहीं करी है। अगर सबकॉन्शियसली करी हो तो पता नहीं मुझे, बट आपका फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन क्या था? मैं थोड़ा भूल गई, आई एम सॉरी।
मैं ये कह रहा था कि जैसे एक मूवी में एक कैरेक्टर को सिचुएशन के हिसाब से अलग अलग कैरेक्टर करने पड़ते हैं, तो वो आप कैसे मैनेज करते हैं?
आपका बोलने का मतलब है कि अलग अलग इमोशंस प्ले आउट करने पड़ते हैं
जी
सेम
जी जी
प्रोजेक्ट में सेम एक्टर को, राइट?
जी
तो वो तो एक्टर का काम है। जैसे आप लाइफ में होते हैं, आप खुश भी होते हैं, दुखी भी होते हैं, गुस्सा भी होते हैं, मजे भी करते हैं, हंसते भी हैं। तो जैसे आपका कैरेक्टर है, जिस तरह से आप, जैसे मैं हूँ अनुप्रिया, मेरी कुछ बेसिक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होंगी, और भी काफी सारी चीजें होंगी जो मे बी मेरे मेन कोर पर्सनालिटी में नहीं झलकती हूँ बट होंगी मेरे अंदर। तो आप उन चीजों को एक्सप्लोर करते हैं, तभी एक्टिंग का मजा भी आता है, क्योंकि कई बार आप अपने से जुदा कैरेक्टर्स करते हैं या फिर अपने जैसे कैरेक्टर्स करते हैं। और सबसे बड़ी जो चीज आपको हेल्प करती है, आपका सबसे बड़ा इंस्ट्रूमेंट स्क्रिप्ट होता है, और फिर एक्टर्स होते हैं, सॉरी आपके डायरेक्टर होते हैं, और फिर को एक्टर्स होते हैं। तो आपके स्क्रिप्ट के बेसिस पे काफी कुछ आपको उससे एक सुर मिल जाता है कि आप क्या करने वाले हैं, और आपका कैरेक्टर इस सिचुएशन में क्या फील कर रहा है या क्या इमोट करना चाहता है, और आप उसकी आवाज ढूंढने की कोशिश करते हैं।
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Karan.
Thank you, sir.
We have one question, Anupriya, which is that person has just posted here, not on the audio-visual medium. We have Deep, who has asked you a question and saying that he's, first of all, a big fan of yours from Padmavat time. And his question is, how were you able to sustain the character in Padmavat when your character comes to know that the Raja has brought new queen? So what was the thought process?
Okay.
Something very different.
Yeah. So मुझे संजय सर ने ना, जब मैं पहली बार संजय सर से मिली थी, his first one of his key pointers was कि she is वो एक मीठी छुरी जैसी है, you know, and वो jealous है पर strong है. Sanjay sir never likes his women, however, you know, pained they are, or however sad they are, or traumatized they are. Then he never likes them weak. He doesn't like that, you know, that kind of a connotation to his women characters at all. And I respect him immensely for that, because in his eyes, women are always strong and they can make choices. And that's what I love about him. He's made me feel that as an actor, as a woman, that you can make choices from how you behave in a given situation, being a woman. So yeah, so for me, Nagmati was someone who was very, like, she had a bit of an inferiority complex, but then she used to kind of, you know, mask it by acting superior at all times. And she was pretty much in love. Like, she is someone who's very much in love with her husband, the Raja. But her ego will not ever let her, you know, express it in the best way without, you know, be vulnerable completely. Like, even if she's being vulnerable, she would try and hold a certain, you know, certain sort of arrogance about her. So that's what I thought. Like, for me at that moment, I think me as Nagmati, I felt I was absolutely hurt. And my ego was also hurt, because, you know, for me, ki meri jagah ek dusri Rani aa gayi, I was immensely jealous, because Padmavati is somebody who's very beautiful, and, you know, usko sab immediately usse pyar karne lag jate hain. It doesn't take her a while, because she's so virtuous also. And honestly, somewhere I feel Nagmati's character is meant to also show the goodness in Padmavati, so to be the contrast. Right? तो मेरे को मुझे लगता है कि it's important for an actor to even understand what is the role of your character, what in the script, what are you supposed to do for the protagonist or for someone else or for the story, and to then play it like that. So the more challenging Nagmati was, the more grey she was, it made everything much more interesting. So she, for me, had a barrage of emotions. She had love within herself. She had a sort of an inferiority complex, but she also acted superior. She had a lot of jealousy, but she would mask it while showing it, and she was arrogant. And so yeah, like, I felt all these emotions at that time.
Fantastic. With that, Anupriya, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Masterminds by Governance Now. It was a complete honor and pleasure, I must say, in having this conversation. It was a really candid conversation where we talked about a lot of issues, be it OTT, Bollywood, actors, playground, everything. And thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for also joining us this evening. Thank you so much, Anupriya. Really a pleasure. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you.